Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the session, and I appreciate you all. And we'll begin shortly. Thank you. 30 more seconds, and then we'll start the class. Okay. 30 more seconds, and we'll start the class. Okay. So good morning, all. Good morning, Sikhar. Good evening, Rakesh. Good evening, Ronak. Good evening, Krati. Good evening to everyone, and thank you for joining the class. Okay, so yesterday we started talking about finance. So we talked about the finance actually. In the finance, we talked about various chart of accounts and what is the chart of account, what does it do, different attribute of different GL in the chart of account. We talk about how the account determination process works. We talk about traditional account determination process, and we also talked about how does the advanced account determination process works and what is the difference between them. So those were some of the things which we have discussed yesterday. So good morning, Sunny, and good evening, Gaurav. So that is what we have discussed yesterday. Before we start, any question? Any questions, concerns, issues, challenges? Anybody, any question? Whatever covered so far? Yep. So today, this is where we left. And today we're going to talk about currencies. So how do we work with the currencies? Yeah, we'll talk about it. So we're going to talk about different currencies, how do you work, and what is the total process of managing currency in the SAP Business 10.0. So currencies, obviously when we are doing business interactions with your customers, vendors, and when you're managing a company, we always have a currency. So currency is one of the primary information which you need to maintain for all your different master data. Yesterday, we also saw that when we create an account number, and for account number also, we can assign the currency. So where we can assign, yesterday we saw that as well. So that is what we have discussed yesterday. So we can have a customer, we can have a vendor in the currency. So yesterday, we saw that, if I go back to what we discussed yesterday, we have, we have a currency. You see that here? Currency. So GL account assigned to currency. So there is a currency assigned. There's a currency assigned. Now, apart from that, if you go to business partner, for example, our customer and vendor, and for customer vendor also, there is currency assigned and there is a currency defined. So if you go a business partner. In the business partner also, there is a currency. So first and foremost, you assign the currency to all the people, all your business partners. So that is the first thing you would always be doing. Okay, so that is one of the things. Now, good evening, Prabhat. So this is what we're going to talk today. What is local currency? What is system currency? Somebody was asking. So we'll talk about that as well. You can assign the currencies to your account. So we saw that yesterday as well, that how the different then we can have a currencies in the price list, and then we can have exchange rate differences. We talk about that as well. So we have a company based in UK, and we have a customer in US. It could be anywhere. So we have a company in India, and we have a customer in US. We have a customer in Japan. We have a customer in England or Germany or wherever. So you might have a lot of customers which may not necessarily be in a domestic market. So any customer which is not in the domestic market is a customer or a foreign customer. So how do we price a foreign customer? Now, we also talked about AR invoice, customer invoice. So for example, if I have a customer which is in US and we are in India, and if I'm making a foreign sale to a customer in US, then what kind of currencies we can have for a customer? How those currency get automatically updated in the AR account. So we saw those accounts. We saw the journal entries. We saw the term customer invoice, and the term vendor invoice, and good receipt PO, and the term delivery, and multiple other different places. We saw the system create journal entry. In those journal entry, we have something called automatic, posting to our. We are posting to a different currencies. So all those posting which took place, they had a currency in it. Okay. So this is what we'll talk about, how this currency conversion and all that work. Okay. So this is my head office. Okay, so my head office is in US. Let's assume. So my head office is in US. So because I'm in US, so my currency in the US is US dollars. So my local currency is US dollars. So because I'm working, my head office is in United States, my local currency is US dollars. Then we have a subsidiary. We have a subsidiary. And then we have a subsidiary in the Japan. And if I have a subsidiary in the Japan, then in this case, what will happen is my local currency is Japan, and my system currency is US dollars. So if I have a subsidiary in Japan, so for Japan, local currency is Japanese yen. And system currency would be in US dollars. Okay. I have another subsidiary in Europe. My local currency, because in Europe, so my local currency is euro, and my system currency in US dollars. So there's a local currency and system currency. Then in case of subsidiaries also, I have a head office in US, but I also have subsidiary also in US. It's possible, but in the same country you can have two subsidiaries. Then we can have local currency is US dollars and system currency also as US dollars. So that is, so in SAP Business One, you can have two parallel currencies. Local currency and the system currency. So what is local currency? What is system currency? We talked about. I will also like you guys to make a note of this paragraph which I highlighted, which I explained. So take pen and paper and make a note of it. So local currency is a currency in which company is legally required to keep a book. So if I'm in my subsidiaries in Germany or in Japan or any country, so this subsidiary is Japan, so my local currency is Japanese yen, because being in Japan, I need to keep my books in Japan. But because we are subsidiary of US, so my system currency is US dollars. So I have two parallel currency, local and system. Okay. So this is an example which describes our local currency and system currency. If I go back, and if I go back to administration, and if I go to company details, in the company detail, we have what is my local currency, Indian rupees, and what is my system currency, US dollars. Okay. Okay. So that is how we can define our system currency and local currency. And these are the two which you can assign to the system at the time of processing. So we talked about, so in the company level, we define your local and system currency. Company level basically means if you go back as a part of administration, system initialization, at a part of company detail, and here we have these two, local currency and system currency. That is what we see here. You can have two parallel currencies possible in SAP. Now, I would like to do an exercise. So for example, so I want to do an exercise. For example, we have a customer in US dollars, in USD, in US. So we have a customer in USA, and I'm in India. So how does that conversion will work? So first and foremost, so let's say I want to create a sales order for such customer, export customer. I want to create a delivery, and I want to create an AR invoice. And then what I want to do here in the delivery, I want to verify the document. I want to verify the document. And then I need to verify, I should say, accounting document. When it's a document, that basically means accounting document where you have a journal entry. Okay? So let us say this is the exercise which you have. We have a customer, and I have a customer in US dollars. So I'm in India. So how does that functioning works, and how do we, Okay. So now, if you go back to my customers, and if you go to business partner, if you go to customer here, if I choose my customer, and so these are all different customers. If you look at it, let me make it a little bit. And if I see this customer, and for every customer, on the right-hand side, we have a currency. So with this customer number 10, we have a currency assigned as US dollars. Whereas this customer is Indian rupees, Indian rupees, Indian rupees. This is US dollar, this is US dollar, this is dollar. Okay. So let us say, we have a customer which is an export customer. So I got to go back and create a sales order, then see what happens. So I select that customer as electronics, and this customer is VP currency is US dollars. You see that here? So the VP currency is US dollars, which is 70. Now, where the 70 is, that is also being defined. So if you go back here, because take 70, so I put it, some kind of exchange rate, and you can define those exchange rate conversions as well. Okay? So different exchange rates you can define in the system. That exchange rate conversion. So if you see that Indian rupees, so for the 4 currencies, so for US dollar, I put 70, 70, 70. And you can change it also. You see, it's October and by the date. It doesn't need to be 70 every day. It could change. So let's say I put 70 for every day, and you can change it. And if you want to change it now, so it's 70, it takes, because that is what has been defined in the conversion table. But if you want to change this 70 also, you can change that as well, because that is possible that this 70 becomes 71. So during the document entry as well, you can change the date. So rather than 70, if you want to make it 71, whatever, it's changeable. Okay. So you can do that. You can change it. So now, coming back to the item code, item number. This is item number. Let us say I select JVF object print. And here, this is my item description, unit number 1. This is the unit price from the list price coming as a 27,000 rupees. There's an 11% discount because we maintained the discount. Okay. And then price after discount is 24,030. That is my price in Indian rupees. Now, but in the US dollar, you see that here, in US dollar, this becomes 343.29. Now, how does the system calculate? So if I go back to calculator, and if I select my calculator, and if I see my 24,030 divided by 70, so how much it is? 243.29. See that? 243.29. So conversion rate is $70. Okay, you can convert it. Good evening, Manjay. Thank you for joining. That is how conversion automatically takes place, because this is the rate I have mentioned in the table. Then we will do the date. I say add, and we get save. So we have saved it. So general entry completed successfully. In sales order, there is no general entry, so nothing happens. We go to copy to, and then we go to delivery button here. In the delivery button, we have a delivery document here. This is the customer C6000. There is a electronic contact person, item number, description, quantity 1, price 27,000. This is discount. This is the price in the low currency, $243.29. This is the price in the dollar. This is the price in Indian rupees. Okay. So two parallel currencies. We see here also is your local price, system price, and coming from this is for customer. And we say add. And we say add. So operation completed successfully. So what we did, we go to relationship map. We see sales order. This is sales order number. So we can enter that in the system. So now we go to delivery button here. We close this. So this is the delivery button. Okay. And then if I go back, if I right click here, and in the right click, we have something called journal entry. This is the journal entry. So we go to journal entry here. Now what we see in journal entry, so the same journal entry which you've seen many, many times. So we have a stock account, and this is stock account. So here, this is my 12,000, and this is INR, 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 INR. Now here, system says that my stock account debit, and this FC here, FC. FC means foreign currency. And then there is also SC. SC means my system currency. So system currency, FC means my foreign currency. Now, so here we can have three parallel currencies here. This is Indian rupees. This is my system currency, which is coming from my configuration, because in the configuration we put a system currency equals to US dollars. And then we also have foreign currency. This is coming from my business partner. And my business partner also is in US dollars. So my foreign currency is also US dollar. My system currency is also US dollar. My local currency is in Indian rupees. So that is how system automatically perform the conversion, and that is the entry which has been done in the system. And now there are three different currencies. This is my local currency, this is my system currency, and this is my FC means foreign currency, which is coming from business partner. Because it's possible that my business partner is somewhere else. It is in Japan, it is in Germany or England or wherever. So there is a currency we see here. There's a delivery. Now we go back here, we go to AR invoice. So I go back and copy into the AR invoice. This is my customer invoice, this is my item number, this is my quantity, this is my price. And then we add, And then we have so we say add, yes, So here we have another operation, what we've done so far. We have a relationship map, we create a sales order, delivery, and AR invoice. And then AR invoice, I want to see another document here. I go to general entry. Now look at here. So debit, credit, debit, credit, debit, credit. Repeating 3 times. Yeah? Debit, credit, debit, credit, debit, credit. This is again the same thing. So this is Indian rupees, Indian rupees. This is my foreign currency, which is coming from business partner, and my system currency is US dollars. So that is what we have done in the system. Okay. So that is how system automatically performs the conversion and currency conversion takes place. So we saw in the accounting document, we had the local currency, we had a system currency, and we had a foreign currency. Foreign currency come from business partner, local currency and system currency come from the configuration. Okay. That is what this basically means. Same thing we have here in the accounting document, and we verify. Okay. So that is what we will see in this example. So local currency, system currency, foreign currency. I will like you guys to make a note of it also. Like when you see the document for your reference for the future, that the system by default have these 3 currencies. Okay. It's like 3 currencies in the system, in the documents. Okay. That is, now we have something called, this is what we talked about. And now here we have each business partner master data and a real account need a account currency. We talked about it. That basically means in the customer master, there is account, there is a currency. In a GL account, there is a currency. So there is a currency on the both sides. We look at the business partner, we define currency. In the GL master, you can assign currency. In the account also, you can have a local currency. In account, you can have any foreign currency. You can have maintain all currency. You can have in account, then in the GL here, let me go back to the GL. Let me go back to the chart of account. So this is a chart of account. Right? Now here in the chart of account, we can have multiple currencies. British pound, Indian rupees. If we click on it, we can select what currencies we want. We can define different currencies. See that currency INR, currency INR, currency INR. That is account currency. So you have a currency at the business partner, currency at the account level. In account currency can also be set up to a foreign currency if you want to. Normally, account currency equals to local currency. Now what happens is, a lot of places, I will also like you guys to make a note of this row as well. Make a note of this line. There is something called all currencies. Now if you see here, there is something called all currency. See that here? For this GL I selected. For this GL, I have a currency equals to all currency. Now, what is this all currency means? So make a note of this paragraph which I highlighted. Account has been set to all currencies. This is GL account or any account for that matter has been set up to all currencies. Has been set up to all currencies. What happened in this case? In this case, you can enter GL entry in any foreign currency that has been set up in the company. So that basically means you can choose a specific only country. So either you can say that I only work in British pound, I only work in Canadian dollars, I only work in euro, I only work in rupees, I work in US dollars. All currency basically means I can work in any currency as long as that currency is defined. So that is what this all currency. That is why here in many places you will see all currency. All currency. And why this all currency means that your business partner, make a note of this point which I highlighted, that you can have your business partner in any currency. So your customer could be in China, your customer could be in Japan, could be in Korea or South Africa or Brazil or wherever. So all currency basically means that you can have your customer in any currency as long as that currency has been defined. That is all currency basically means. That is why you will see that here, all currencies. Now, when we get an AR invoice, we also saw this. Yeah? We have a foreign currency which is being defined. And we also saw the general entries. So when we enter the general entry, we saw those general entries. So this we have done. So if I go back to the AR invoice, which you have done. Okay. Now here, one more thing which I want to show you. If you want to define any currency, you can define any currency. Okay. So if you go back to the currencies here, if you click on this currency, in the system, I have 5 currencies. Canadian dollar, euro, British pound, Indian rupees, US dollars. If I want to define any currency here, you can define as many currencies as you want. So if you're handling in 20 different currencies, in 20 different countries, because you might have a customer in 20 countries or 50 countries or 10 countries or 5 countries or 2 countries. So as many as places you have a business partners, you have customers and suppliers, and if you need to do the transaction in those currencies, so this is currency setup. By default, you have these 5. You can define more than 5. So there is a currency setup. So where is this? It is part of setup, it is administration, setup, finance, currency. Then if I go back to AR invoice, so this is what we have a AR invoice. If I go to AR invoice, then we have something called, okay, so we see here, okay. So if you see here, and we looked at it here in the total, you see the total. The total comes in US dollars. Because this customer is in, so you can basically get your details, if you look at the bottom, in US dollars. That is what you see here, that you will see here in local currency. In general entry, we have seen foreign currencies and also local currencies and also system currencies. We have seen all the 3. So this is basically example of foreign currencies in the documents. Okay. When you use foreign currency in the document with no additional currency, what system do? Translate local currency. So that is the translation happen. So what happened in our case? This is my Indian rupees, and this is my US dollars. So based upon this rate, $70, which we have created, we can change this $70, 70 to 1. System automatically create my US dollars. Its conversion happens automatically. Okay, so that is what system does. That is what we measure, conversions. Now there is also something called posting exchange rate differences. So it is possible that, okay, I have posted an invoice as $70, right? So if you see here in this example, my conversion rate is $70, and 1 to 70. The US dollar equals to 70. Now tomorrow it becomes 72 or something else. So that is what we see here, that become your exchange rate differences. Then what system does, it posts the difference to a difference account. So exchange rate difference window, this is how you look like, and then you can choose, and system will say that, okay, there's a difference, you want to accept or you want to reject. So conversion window, it comes many times. There is also revaluation. Revaluation basically means, we talked about that many times we do the revaluation of inventory. So in the various financial transactions, sales and purchase, you can also do revaluation as well. So let us say I have this document, I close this, and I want to go to the banking. And in the banking, I want to go to incoming payment, and I select my customer, and my customer is SG Electronics. This is SG Electronics. Now, if you see this SG Electronics here, then all these different transactions for SG Electronics is taking place in US dollars. And here we have one transaction which we did on today, which is 1023, and this is for amount $352, right? Now this is the amount. Now here also we have exchange rate, it's $70. You can change here also. From 70 it becomes 72. Possible. And you can change at that time as well. There is a currency, US dollar. How much is the amount? You can change it. So say we are paying in US dollars, 375.02. Okay. We can define that. Now, let us say I want to also do the same cycle at the time of purchasing. So what happens at the time of purchasing? So this is what we did in sales cycle. Now what happens if you do the same thing in the vendor? Because you might also be buying the goods. So what happens if you're doing the same thing in the vendor? We get a purchase order, then we get a go to GRPO, then we get AP invoice. So we have done all these different transactions in the system. Okay. So how do we do that? So now we go to the purchase side. So with the sales head, can we see the rate? Yeah, it is there on the top, right? Yeah. It's there in all the documents. So if you go to sales AR here, see that rate? 70. It's a USD dollars. It's a US dollars. and this is 70. You see that here, the rate? You got it? Yeah, you can do a print preview also. You say print is a program. You can read whatever you want. You can see in the print preview whatever. Print is a program actually. You can type whatever you want. In the print preview also there is a US dollars here. You see that here? US dollars. US dollars. Okay. So we go back to the purchase cycle. So for example, I'm creating a purchase order and I select this customer Lumex. This customer Lumex is also working in US dollar, rate is 70. And then I select any item which you want. Now here again, system take my price is 9,000, there's 11% discount. And in the dollar, the value of the purchase is 114.43. It converts automatically. And then we add, after creating sales purchase order, I want to do a go receipt. So this is a go receipt. Here we have vendor with the Suraj, this is item number, unit price. This is local currency 114. Then we add and we save. Operation completed successfully. After that, if I go to air invoice and I see the journal entry here, we have the same thing. So we have a stock account, and then we have, this is US dollar, foreign currency, local currency, system currency. SC, system currency, local currency, foreign currency. We can have, this is go receipt. After that, if you go back to my AP invoice and my vendor invoice, and then we add it, and then we add it. Okay, we put a tax, we add it. So we create a AP invoice, vendor invoice. If you go back to the journal entry here also, same thing. This is system currency, US dollars, local currency, Indian rupees, and foreign currency, US dollar. Okay, so that is what we will get multiple currencies in the parallel. Okay. So that is how we can have all these different journal entries in the system. You can close it, Row will be show. Row will be show means? Okay. So that is what we have done so far. Now we go to the next topic. Next topic is about journal entry. Now journal entry we have done many times. Now journal entry we have done automatically. Journal entry we have done, and we have done that journal entry automatically. Like if you see here, like today also, like in case of vendor, this is a vendor, this is the invoice we did, right? And this invoice, if I go to journal entry, so this is a journal entry document. So we saw this journal entry document many times. But all these journal entries happened automatically. That's the power of the SAP, because you get to have all these journal entries automatically. But if you want to do these journal entry manually, you can also do these journal entry manually as well. So you can do journal entry automatically, which is what we've done many times. And then we can also do rate of exchange. Yeah, what is the question? Means you're talking. Rate of exchange. You can define rate of exchange, right? In SAP, you can define exchange rates. These are different exchange rates. We define 70 everywhere. We select 70 from there. So now we're talking about the general entry. Okay. So enter a manual journal entry. So we have done automatic journal entries. How do we do manual journal entry? That is what we are talking about. Okay. So one is automatic. Automatic we have done many times. How, if for many reasons, you can also do journal entry manually as well. You have some miscellaneous expenses. So for them, you can do journal entry. You can also do journal entry transaction manually for a small expenses. If you got some small item, some minor item, there is no PO for it. So what happens if there is no PO? You still have to make an entry for a vendor, right? So how will you do that? And Guru Receipt we have done, but you don't do Guru Receipt for everything. If you buy like 2 pens and which is for like 10 rupees, you're gonna pay 10 rupees to the vendor, but you probably may not create a purchase order for 5 rupees or 10 rupees or 20 rupees or some very minor expenses. But you will still account them somewhere. Okay. So that is what we have. We can also do as many journal entries as possible. So here we have financial, this is journal entry, this is journal entry. Now here in the journal entry, we can choose, for example, a vendor. So let's say I have a vendor at my associates and I want to credit him for some minor 100 rupees. And I want to debit some account, some bank or whatever, So we can choose an account. If we see these are all different accounts, which is coming from my chart of account. If we want to select any account as we want, HDFC Bank, and we can also debit HDFC Banks. Okay. This is example. And then the end. Now see the example. If you go back, this is an example of doing a journal entry manually for this vendor, Acme Associates. What we did manual journal entry for a vendor. Minor cases you can do. If I go back to the journal entry again, if I select it, and then I have a customer, you can choose customer also, and I want to make a debit, a small debit. This is a very minor purchase. I don't have any sales order. I want to directly update bank account. You can do it in case of vendor, in case of customer also. So you can do in both sides. We have $100 debit to this customer. Posting done. operation completed successfully. So what we did a manual entry for vendor, and then we can do manual general entry for a customer. I want to do a manual general entry for some miscellaneous expense. Some kind of miscellaneous expense happened, some office party happened, we had office party. And for that, we can have a manual entry, and we can have a miscellaneous expenses and some kind of office party and give an expense for that. Okay. So if you go back to, so this is general entry. I can select any account actually. If you see, these are all different accounts. These are all different accounts. And these accounts are coming from your, so you have some, let's say, staff entertainment. We have some office party, something, and we want to debit one account. And then we also have updating my bank because we made a payment to this. So we will take one account as a debit, another account there is a credit. So there's always double entry, one account debit, one account credit. So this is office party. This is general. Okay. So we did multiple journal entry. Any option to add a note? Yeah, you have a note, right? You can enter different comment, agreement. You can even do attachment and all that, because many times you have receipt or something which you want to do. You can do that as well. So there's a remark field. So this is expense for office party. You can add. And then many times you want to do attachment also. Okay. We have and here a remark also. There's a remark. You can put a template and all that here as well. All different locations where it has a receipt number. You see the receipt number. If I want to put a receipt number, many times if you want to do attachment. So if you have any attachment, you can actually attach also. There's a document here, a browser. And if you have any document which you want to attach, any PDF document, Word document, as long as an electronic template, electronic format, any of these documents you can attach. So this is how we attach. And these attachments you can do everywhere. This attachment you can do in sales orders and purchase orders and custom invoice and vendor invoice and journal entry, wherever. What we did an attachment here. And if I double click on it, this is the document we attached. That is how we can do attachment also. You can put a remark also. You can put a comment also. Yes, any copy which is a scanned digital copy. Yeah, as long as you have digital, you can even define in SAP the directory locations, which directory it will go and store. So you can define directory location also. You can do that. And this attachment is everywhere. Any type of attachment, yes. Any type of attachment means as long as the digital form. If you go back here, if you see the browser and see my, it's like, you see the PDF, you see Excel sheet, you see the, Word document, PowerPoint. So any of these Word document, PowerPoint, Microsoft Office, Excel sheet, you can upload all of them. Okay. Wonderful. So you're welcome, Gaurav. I have a good news. Class is over. Class is over. Samachar Samapti. We'll talk tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. So good news. We will finish course next week. The next week course will be over, finished, chitti, done. That's it. Course will finish, class is over, and we'll talk next week, and course will finish next week. So I think I might take another maybe 3 classes, and next week class would be over. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye, guys. Thank you, everyone.